right, everyone. The story I'm going to tell you tonight is very dear to me because I want you to know the person I'm going to be portraying is my father. Not only is my father, but he's also my hero. So sometimes I cry, that's okay. Okay? I was born November 3rd, 1919 in Schenectady, New York. That's just a small town on the outside of Albany. I knew from an early age on what I really wanted to do with my life, and that definitely was to fight. When I was younger, I was a gifted athlete. I ran cross country for my school, and I pursued my dream and went into amateur boxing. I had 95 amateur fights. I won 91. I won the Golden Gloves Award and also won the Diamond Belt. In August of 1938, I turned professional. I was only 18 years old. I was in the lightweight division. I definitely remember my very first professional fight. I fought a gentleman by the name of Jerry Hall. I won a 6-round victory. It was at Griffin Stadium in Washington, D.C. You know, just to mention a few that I fought climbing up the ladder was George Salamon. He was undefeated before he met me. I fought a gentleman by the name of Bobby Ivy. I also fought and beat Lenny Mancini. Lenny Mancini is the father of the champ of the world, Boom Boom Mancini. And I also even fought Eddie Zivic. His brother was the champ of the world, Freddie Zivic. And I know today these names don't mean nothing to you, but back then they were really all top contenders. You know, I kept fighting, I kept winning, and I was aging well. I went from the lightweight division into the welterweight division. And before I knew it, I had a record of 42 wins, no losses. It was one of the best starts in the history of boxing. In October of 1941, I got in a fight with a gentleman known as pound for pound, the best fighter in the world, and that was Sugar Ray Robinson. We were both undefeated. It was a close 10-round decision. During the fight, the referee said I landed a low blow. They took a point away from me. And at the end of the fight, Sugar Ray won the fight just by a couple of points. But that fight with Sugar Ray landed me a fight with Lou Jenkins. Lou Jenkins was the former lightweight champ of the world, and I easily defeated him. In May of 1942, I got a rematch with Sugar Ray. It was at Madison Square Garden. Over 15,000 people jammed the arena. They came to see a fierce fight because they knew I wanted to revenge my only loss. You know, I didn't disappoint my fans. I fought hard, I fought well, and I even forced the action. But you know what? It was just not meant to be. The 2 ringside judges gave the fight to Sugar Ray. The referee gave me the fight, and when the verdict was read for Sugar Ray, everybody stirred up and booed. After the fight with Sugar Ray, what I did is I ended up joining the United States Coast Guard. It was during World War II. My commanding officer was the heavyweight champ of the world, Jack Dempsey. During my stay with the Coast Guard, I put on quite a few boxing exhibitions, and all the money that was made went towards the wounded veterans. I didn't fight professionally for 3.5 years. In 1945, after my stay with the Coast Guard, I went back into the ring. I had a couple tuna fights, and before I knew it, I had a shot at the title. It was on February 1st, 1946, at Madison Square Garden. I fought a gentleman by the name of Freddie Red Cochran. I knocked him out in the 4th round. I was now the welterweight champion of the world. They even put my picture on the front cover of the Ring magazine, and I was also on the front cover of the Look magazine. On March 29, less than 2 months after I won the title, on a decision made on behalf of my manager, my trainer. And by the way, have you folks ever heard of Rocky Marciano? Where Rocky and myself, we had the same manager and trainer. They wanted me to fight Rocky Graziano. It was nothing but a big money fight. Rocky weighed in as a middleweight, 154 pounds. I weighed in as a welterweight, 140 pounds. During the fight, I suffered a nose injury. A couple months later, I went back into the ring. I fought Benny Singleton. I knocked him out in the 1st round. I had a couple more professional fights, but I knew I could not continue due to my nose injury. So in September of 1947, I retired as the undisputed welterweight champion of the world. I was inducted into the Schenectady's Hall of Fame, I was inducted into the World Boxing Hall of Fame, and I was also inducted into the Capital District Sports Hall of Fame. My professional record was 48 pro fights. I only lost 4, and I had 15 knockouts. You know, after my boxing career ended, I moved to the great state of Colorado. At first, I was a parole officer in Buena Vista. Then when I moved to Pueblo, I started bartending at the White Horse Tavern and also bartended at Purchase's Tavern, which was on Union, no more than a block away from here. One night at Purchase Tavern, I met the love of my life. Her name was Carol Resergio. Carol and I ended up getting married. We raised a family of 3. Things was going good for me. I got a job at the CFNI. I was working in the tube mill. On the weekends, they would call me and ask me if I'd referee the fight for the kids at the VFW Hall. I even refereed the fight for the kids at East High School. One day at work, I became very ill. I went to quite a few doctors in town, but no one really knew what the problem was. So they all decided to send me up to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. So while I was up there at the clinic, they discovered I had a rare form of cancer. I had a degenerative spinal disease. So when I was at the clinic, I had 2 major surgeries. After the second major surgery, the doctors knew there really wasn't much they could do for me, so they decided to send me to the Penrose Hospital up in Colorado Springs. At least this way I'll be close to my family. While I was at the Penrose Hospital, I had my 3rd major surgery. You know, when I finally did get home, I realized my medical expenses was outstanding. I had no idea what I was going to do. And then to my surprise, all the professional bowlers got together and put on a couple bowling tournaments. And a good friend of mine, Abe Saperstein, the owner and trainer of the Harlem Globetrotters, put on a couple basketball exhibitions, and all the money that was made went to help pay for my medical expenses. On February 8th, 1969, I died. I was only 49 years old. My funeral was held at the Holy Family Parish, and even parts of my funeral was televised and was sent throughout the world. I am now at the Imperial Gardens. I'm in a section called the Stations of the Cross. I am next to station number 5, and on my grave it reads, Marty Servo, World Welterweight Champion.
Wow, nice.